Hi, we'll be discussing a very important but a topic which is often ignored. So, this is what an eco team should know about fire safety and evacuation. So, fire hazard is a real risk, though thankfully it's a very low incidence. I have not seen a single episode where there was a real risk of fire in a hospital I worked in. NICU is a very high risk area in case there is a fire because it would be extremely challenging to evacuate sick babies on ventilator. Every hospital should have clear design and construction using fire resistant material, and thankfully, countries like India are recognizing this hazard now because of recent incidents where hospital fires happened, babies died, or patients died. There were a couple of major fires last year during the COVID episodes. These are in bigger cities in India, and unfortunately, people take shortcuts and they don't follow the rules. And again, I saw a news item a couple of days ago where in Chennai, the Rajiv Gandhi Hospital, they were doing a fire drill. So it's nice to see that people are starting to recognize the importance of these. However, it doesn't get easier, and we should be thinking as a team on how we should approach an incident where we would be in trouble. So we should all know where the nearest fire alarm is next to your unit. We should know the nearest fire extinguisher within the unit as well as nearby, and you should recognize that we have fire compartments in each floor of each hospital, and in a well constructed hospital there should be a fire resistant fire doors which totally shut down that compartment, so there is no risk of smoke. And even if the actual fire, physical fire is there, these fire resistant material will hold it for around 120 minutes. That is the standard that we need. So this compartmentalization is important. The fire doors need to be kept closed. We need to respect that rule. We don't wedge the fire doors open so that if there is a fire, it is closed and the fire or the smoke doesn't spread. So most of the damage from the fire happens from the smoke inhalation, which actually injures your lung and causes problems. The actual fire spreads to all areas in only some situations. Electrical safety is very important as it is one of the hazards that cause the fire in the first place, and if the fire is spreading, obviously it can worsen. You should also know the gas safety because we have the medical gases, oxygen and air coming through. We should know where the mains control is for the NICU or any intensive care unit. But remember that closing the medical gas is one of the last steps after the evacuation is completed. So the command for closing the medical gas comes from the topmost administrator. We should know the emergency access points, which is usually the staircases which go to the exterior, and we have collection points after the fire. During any fire drill, people are supposed to direct the team who is not involved in acute care. There are different levels of fire drills. When you first say you're staying within a compartment, and if you're within a safe compartment, you don't need to evacuate. If you are experiencing a fire drill where everyone who is not taking inpatient care should go to the collection area, so they come and stay in an area where the head counts are taken. If there is real evacuation, it can be horizontal evacuation or vertical evacuation. Vertical evacuation thankfully is not needed in many cases where the firefighters can come and put out the fire, except when that compartment is directly involved. So we also need to plan and acquire material like vests, so the nurses and other team members can wear, where you can accommodate baby treatment material, the pumps for infusion and so on. Most of the pumps run on battery for an hour or so, and the baby should be carried safely in an adequate wrap. Obviously the lifts stop working when there is a fire, and so the incubators and ventilators cannot be carried even if they have a battery backup. The only option would be to wrap in warm towels and carry hand ventilation with self-inflating bags. So now that most of us are using Neopuff in the NICU, we should be still having self-inflating bags for situations where the gas supply fails. You may not have oxygen for the brief time that you're going down the stairs, but the hospital should have a facility that all these setups are arranged wherever you are moving the baby to. So it can be in a different floor or it can be in an adjacent building. And hopefully you would have some ability to do that. So the fire happens because of all the three components coming together. So you need fuel, which can be the clothing in the bedding, the cotton used for treatment, the paper used in the units, and heat is produced by spark from an electric short circuit or any heat producing equipment. Oxygen is needed for fire to sustain itself, so all these three come together to form the fire triangle. And to extinguish the fire, we have anything that cuts off one of these links. So we have the short forms which we need to remember. 4 essential steps to take if you discover the fire. So R is rescue. The rescue should happen first for the ones which can be moved quickly, and the final rescue is for those who are most dependent. After you rescue, if it is safe, then you go for alarm. The C stands for containing, which is staying within the compartment or the fire door, and E is for extinguish. This is in the actual area of the fire. So once you have the need to extinguish a fire, you use the pass technique. So P stands for pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. So depending on what type of extinguisher it is, you are doing the technique according to that. So most of the extinguishers follow the pass technique, and the raise is the initial step. So rescue if it is needed, A for alarm, C for contain, and D for extinguish. So remember that rescue is only needed in situations where evacuation has been ordered. Usually you have a command system in any hospital. The chief executive officer, the chief medical, chief nursing officers are involved with the maintenance team, FMD, a facility maintenance team, and they would be having a plan in place, and the regional managers would be in charge of their units, and you need to have a plan as to who will do what in your unit if evacuation is needed. So we have different types of extinguisher material. So water can be used for organic materials, but it's not good for electrical equipment, combustible material, or gases. Foam is commonly used for organic material and liquids. Dry powder is suitable for most of the items except cooking oil. And carbon dioxide is used mainly for flammable liquids and electrical equipment. Carbon dioxide is good for electrical equipment because foam or any other aspects, even the dry powder, can damage the equipment by itself. And wet chemical to extinguish the fire is not that commonly used, and it's specialized. You can also use fire blankets, fire retardant material to smother the oxygen in cooking oil fire. Usually you have it in the kitchen as well. So though fire hazards are rare, preparedness is a key in case of disaster. Every hospital in the NICU team should have an individualized plan. So you need to know what is available in your setup, what facilities you have, plan and get appropriate equipment, and plan fireproof compartments if it's not already constructed to standard. Request the management, especially the electrical circuits. Most of the NICU items have fuses which protect it from overheating. And horizontal evacuation is easier. You need to have a plan of where you can take the baby to a next compartment with ability to connect a ventilator or oxygen. Vertical evacuation is more difficult because of staircase involved. Lifts don't work. That is the last step, and that's what I discussed in the beginning. And we should allot roles and responsibility and conduct drills, and of course we hope that we never need to use these. This is a short summary of just to give you an overview, but I would recommend you to go through some guidelines and prepare guidelines and have a plan for your own unit. Thank you.